So it's day 9. Wow. Like, this is the first morning that I woke up and I wasn't in like an anxious panic for once. So I woke up, the first time I woke up this morning, it was like 4:30, right? Yeah, like 4:30. And I think that was the first time that this in 9 days that I've woken up around that time and haven't had like intense panic because you anytime this prior week that I've woken up, since you passed, anytime I've woken up at 4:30, I've had, it's been me waking up with anxiety, or, is I just follow some sort of anxiety because, at that time you were gone already last week. You know what I mean? Like, so the beginning of this week, that it is, like Wednesday, I know it was a really hard day, like I told you, for me and Gamma, because, that was the day, or at least for me, that was the day I was struggling with, where I was like, man, like last week you were alive at this time, or, last week period, on this day you were alive, and, then yesterday, that it was like a full week, like this time, on this Thursday last week, you are gone, you were gone. And so it's, but the moments I noticed, just when, and I see all this stuff about grief, of course, and I hear these, or I don't hear these people, but I see these people writing about it online, their experiences with loss and grieving and stuff. And literally everybody's is different. Like, everybody is literally different. Everybody handles it differently. Everybody does differently. Me and Gamma, I believe we're doing really, really good, in the sense that we are grieving. We're not holding anything in. I mean, of course we are, holding some things close to the chest that we're just not talking about. I don't want to talk, about the fact that you're gone all the time. That was something that the first couple of days I did, and even trailing off into. But now I'm starting to realize that, like, I don't want to just only ever talk about the fact that you're gone. You know what I mean? I want to talk about the fact that you lived. I want to talk about the fact that you were a real person, that you're beautiful, that you have an amazing, personality and a laugh like no other. And, I want to get to a point where that's the stuff that I'm talking about. It's the stuff that is like beyond just the fact that you passed away. Of course it sucks that you passed away, but we're trucking, we're moving on, we're doing what we need to do, and we're making the motions that we need to make. Yesterday was the first time that some of your friends haven't checked in with me, and I'm trying to get okay with that. I'm trying to get okay with the fact that I'm not going to always have people checking in on me. Dad is not always going to be saying to me, how are you holding up? Are you okay? And I don't know that I want to hear that shit, honestly, so, and maybe it's happening because, you and the Lord know that, it's getting ready to happen to all these other people. Because, I mean, bro, my sister texted me yesterday. I haven't talked to this lady since the day of the wedding. So it has been like 7 months. I have, and I have just after the wedding, I was like, I'm just not even gonna talk to her no more, because I felt like I couldn't develop anything with her. And don't ask me how she found out. That's the thing. That is the thing, Ton, is because you are absolutely making your rounds, and that's the only way to slice and dice it, is that you are making your rounds and letting everybody find out, because, like, especially with my sister, like, we don't share any friends in common. I can understand if we had some friends in common and possibly one of those friends either reached out to her or was like, said something like, oh my gosh, your sister is posting about, her daughter, blah, blah, blah. I can see if it was any of that, but it hasn't been, bro, because her and I are not friends on Facebook, and we don't share mutual friends, and we're not even friends on Instagram. So I'm just like, who the hell, like, and I know it was you. Like, I know it was you. Unless randomly, I don't know, but it was funny to me. And she texted very late, so I didn't have the mental capacity to, and in true you fashion, like, all of a sudden the noise starts. I hear cats fighting somewhere in the distance. I hear dogs going crazy. So thanks. I'm trying to just chill and talk to you, and always got to be something. My neighbor's leaving. What's funny is that I noticed that, I come out here, and maybe I'll have to switch it up. Maybe 5 o'clock is not the quiet time for me anymore. It needs to be like, maybe I do need to get up at 4:30. I don't know. Maybe that's what you're trying to tell me, is get up a little, 30 minutes earlier, because the neighbor used to not leave until like 6 o'clock, something like that. Now I come outside 5 o'clock and he's leaving, you know what I mean? I'm just like, what? Like, my time, damn it, my time. I live in the country. Everybody shut the fuck up. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so you got kid reaching out the woodwork, wanting to, wanting to send condolences, wanting to know what happened, just a whole bunch of things that people want. So, is he gone? Okay, he's gone. I'm gonna move over here. For some reason, I like but then I think his wife comes not too long after, so I'll move once I see her, because anyway, none of that matters, Tom. None of that matters. You don't give a shit. You're like, whatever. But you know me, I'm gonna focus on the dumb shit. And then Dad finally, well, I say Dad finally, but no, I finally was able to have Dad print out those forms that I needed, and that was wild yesterday. So filling out those forms was crazy. I'm used to filling out forms for you for school, or things that a parent just needs to sign for, and yet filling out that vital statistic form, and it asking about your not only your date of birth but your date of death. And I'm just like, oh shoot. And then another thing is that about the time that you passed, because honestly and truly, you passed at 4:15, sometime between 4:15 and 4:20. But your time of death, according to paramedics, is something completely different, and that's what it will go recorded as. And that time, I don't know what time that is, so that I didn't know. There wasn't much on the thing that I couldn't answer, but it was just something like that. And it was just weird because it was like, oh my gosh, like, time of death, like, oh my gosh, time of death. Yeah, because you died, And so it's hard, to still, I don't foresee myself ever getting used to that bit of information. I don't see myself ever getting used to, oh, she's she's gone. That's right. She's gone. Like, I can't allow myself to think that. And then I started thinking today, when I got up, because I would be lying to you if I told you that part of me didn't want to get up. And not in the sense of like, I don't want to wake up, period. In the sense of like, I didn't want to get up. I didn't. I wanted to sleep. I kind of felt you telling me in around, or at least I thought it was you. I honestly, I don't know, but I felt like it was you telling me, Mom, you don't have to. You don't have to. Like, you can record it at any time, I want you to talk. Your thing was, I want you to talk about it daily, but, like, you don't have to talk about, at 5 o'clock every single day. But 5 o'clock just feels like the right time, It is when it's the most quiet. I can complain about neighbors and cats and, things like that, but it's the country, and it's not going to be quiet. Like, even now, there's a random dog, barking. I hear all different frogs. I hear somebody kind of with a loud car, like, sounds like in the middle of the neighborhood. I mean, like, so it's never quiet the way I'm thinking of quiet, because I'm thinking during the day, there's cars, there's more sounds, it's just more, a lot of different things. So, but you were like, you don't have to get up, record it at a different time, but I've set this pattern, and in my heart, I'm just like, after 2 weeks, I will switch it to record it, instead of recording it in the morning, I may start recording it at night, before I go to bed, to just kind of wind down my daily thoughts, because, trying to think about yesterday, and now it's a brand new day, it's hard, especially waking up in the morning, and like just immediately like I'm up, but thoughts haven't really been able to formulate, properly, at least today, Last night I did have moments of weeping, but it was a different kind of weeping. It was more so just like, it was a kind of weeping that really had no tears with it, just this kind of like physical pain that I just needed to get out, and, through kind of motions of crying, I was able to move past it, but there really were no tears that came out with it. It was so strange to be in that moment of, being sad and needing to get that, needing to get the feelings out. And I notice it comes often, or majority of the time, when I look at your pictures. Like, for instance, yesterday I was in the bathroom and I'm looking at your shirt. I have your memorial shirt and I have it hanging up in my closet in there, facing outwards, so that way anytime I'm, on the other side of that shirt, facing the front of that shirt, I can see all of your pictures on the shirt. And, I just get lost staring at your face, everything I loved about your face and still love about your face, because it's not past tense, you and controlling your face is gone, you know. I realize that I've settled with that, you know. The way you used to move, and I wish I would have told you when you were here, and I don't know if maybe it would have, you know, done something more with your confidence. I should have told you more about, you know, the little things that I, you know, just found so cute, I guess. I don't know, the things that I would stare at the most when it was, you know, in relation to you. But, you know, your eyes, your eyebrows. I miss how perfect they were, and, you know, how I was always envious. I'm like, man, you got the boobs and the brows, you know, and you hated both of them. So what a jip, right? You know, the boobs you always hated. I used to always tell you I should have got them, but, you know, the Lord knew what he was doing, not giving them to me. So I trust him. And your eyebrows were just absolute perfection. They were arched perfectly. They were, you know, full. You didn't have to fill them in. They would have looked amazing laminated. I think about that now. Just how amazing they would have looked laminated. And I miss your eyes that were just remain so childlike. You know, they say that people with big round eyes, you know, always maintain a youthful look. They always have a childlike appearance and innocence about them. And it's very true, because there you were, you know, the ripe age of 23, and you were still looking like a baby. You know, we still thought of you as a baby because your eyes, you know, your eyes were so big and wide and full of life, and, you know, just, but yet so old at the same time. You know, I couldn't get over that always, and I'm noticing that more so now in pictures, because I'm just like, your eyes were so deep, and, you know, you look like you have been here before, you know, like you have wisdom and knowledge to share. And you still do, but you definitely did possess all of that. I miss your nose, your cute Brooks, but also, you know, mixed with your dad's side nose. But your nose was so adorable, and you had that little freckle on it. You probably had more than just the one little freckle, but you had that one freckle that was, you know, off to the side, but towards the front, that just, you know, you had to really be looking at your face to see it, but I would always see it, and it was just the cutest thing. And your mouth, your lips, you know, I remember the shape, how, you know, I used to always stare at your mouth when you would talk, and you would move your lips in such a way, and you had kind of a little lisp, and it was so adorable. And the way you moved your mouth, it reminded me kind of Pennywise in the original It. You know, I don't know if it was the makeup, I don't know what it was, but his mouth, the way his lips moved in such a way, they just kind of rolled from one side to the next. And that's, you know, that's how I felt about your mouth, you know, your lips, that, you had this, you know, Pennywise kind of quality about it. That may sound morbid, but I don't mean for it to be like you weren't a scary clown, but you know what I'm saying. And you know, just your hair, your gorgeous hair, you know, so many things that I'm look at when I'm looking at your pictures. And you know, still it's hurting my feelings that you're gone. And you see, like, I think about your pictures, Tana just gets so I love you. And you see, that's how you are when we come outside and are looking for you and wanting to hear from you, or, you know, whatever. It's like we come out here and you You see, I'm getting upset and you had that one random bird squawking, and then the frogs got louder for no reason. But Ton, I'm gonna get sad, and I keep telling you that, like, I'm gonna get sad, and I'm gonna cry because I miss you. I miss you so much. I have never in my life known this level of missing someone, you know. The only the only thing I can liken it to is like when me and Dad would break up in the past, and you know, I'd come stay with y'all, and oh man, you know, I look back on those times now and I'm like, those times sucked in one sense, but they were so good in another sense. They sucked because, you know, I was being a little shithead back then, and you know, always breaking up with Dad is not a good thing. But in the other hand, it gave me these big chunks of time to like stay with y'all and be the Three Musketeers again and be able to see you all the time again. And you know, so I wouldn't trade any of those for the world. But that was the only kind of missing you that that's the only kind of missing that I have really experience with, is, you know, him being gone, all those, or us being separated for however long, you know, we would be separated. And but at the same time, you know, when it comes to that kind of, you know, missing somebody, you know, I always knew that I could call Dad. You know what I mean? That's the difference. I always knew that, you know, he was there. I could call him, you know, or I could email him, or I could just do whatever. I knew that I could be able to get in touch with him if I really wanted to. But with you right now, there is none of that, you know. So that missing you, it runs deeper, and it feels shittier because it's missing you that has no, you know, until my final day, it has no end to it, you know. And I got overwhelmed last night, and I guess that'll be my job to overcome, you know, the grief, of course, it's going to be a job in itself to overcome, but that me and Gamma will have our own main things about the grief that we'll have to overcome. And mine's definitely going to be in the moments where I have to sit with, you know, I guess in those moments by myself when I can really like think about like, oh my gosh, like, Ton, you are gone. Just like last night, I'm staring at your picture, and I'm looking at your pictures on this memorial shirt. First of all, you know, can't even believe that those two things are being put into the same sentence, because never in my wildest damn dreams would I even consider that you would ever be on a memorial shirt. And yet here you are on a memorial shirt, and I'm staring at your pictures, and I was saying to myself last night, like, Ton, it has been 8 days since I have heard from you. And meaning, like, you know, in a texting, talking sort of fashion, something like along those lines. I'm like, it's been 8 fucking days, bro. I'm like, I have literally never gone since the day you were born. Since the day I found out I was pregnant with you, I have talked to you every single day. I would talk to you every single day that you were in my tummy, you know. So I've literally, so let's say 23 years and 9 months, okay, or 24 years, because if we want to count it plus the 9 months, it was so 24 years and some plus months. I talk to you every single day. Every single day, Ton. There was, you know, if I thought I was a shit mom, you know, and of course I do because no mom's perfect, but, you know, I especially was not perfect. But, you know, I will say that there was never a day that went by, Tom, that you never talked to me. You know, we talked every single day, multiple times a day. You know, I was always, you know, there. I may not have been right there, but I was there with you, you know. And now for it to go from, you know, talking to you every single day to nothing, like literally the lights went off, nothing, you know, abruptly. You know, I still struggle with the fact that, you know, the last text that I have from you from that Wednesday, you know, we didn't even say I love you to each other, you know. We said it the night beforehand, and I'm thankful for that because I can look back on that, you know. I don't have to dig in my memories, and I'm so thankful for that I don't have to dig back in my memories to hear I love you, you know, or think back to the last time I have, you know, I have it in physical form. So I'm thankful for that, but I don't know. It's just still like, you know, 8 days, bro. And not only has it been 8 days, but when I was talking to your pictures last night, I said, but now I have to go another 8 days, and then another 8 days after that, and another, and it's literally never ending until the day I die. And I mean, I'm 40 years old, you know. I'm 40 years old, Ton. And the thought of going 40 more years, if I'm blessed enough to have 40 more years, but going 40 years without talking to you ever again is just, oh my gosh, you know, it's almost too much to bear, you know. And it'll be those times where I get very overwhelmed, where I'm just like, you know, I guess it's one of those times where it's like the magnitude will set in, and I'll be like, oh my gosh, like, this is real. And I know it's real. Of course I know it's real, because people are starting to make plans. JJ is, you know, bought her plane ticket already. Like, she's coming down here. You know. And she's bringing the baby. And it's like, you know, these people are making plans to come here to see you. You know what I mean? And even that stuff doesn't make it real to me, you know. But what makes it real is those moments when I'm sitting with the grief and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, this is really fucking happening. Like, this is really fucking happening. This is really happening, you know. And then it's like the worst horror movie, that realization. So that's mainly what our day-to-day life is, honestly. You know, me and Gamma, our day-to-day life is going through the stages of grief and just letting them come as they come. You know, yesterday Gemma, for the first time, you know, felt like she needed to be alone, you know. And I think that's going to be hard to come by in the next 3 weeks, because Aunt Rosa comes today, and that's going to be interesting. Love Aunt Rosa to death. I'm so glad she's going to be here for Gemma. I feel like Gemma and I are transitioning to where we need to grieve with other people. Like, you know, other people who knew how much we love Tana. You see, I'm talking to you like, you know, they're pretty, but we need to have other people around us who loved you as well, but we can also grieve with. So I believe that that's going to be Aunt Rosa for Gemma. And I think it's going to be good. You know, I think she's going to be a tremendous help. And it'll be a nice distraction. And because, you know, we have so many changes coming up, like year passing, it was just adding on to it. But there was so many changes coming about. Like, you know, Dad's getting ready to go out of town for like a month. He'll be back on the weekends, but he's gonna be gone for the whole week, weeks at a time. So gone a week, come back that weekend, leave that next week, come back that weekend, and then that third week is he's back, and that's when we're gonna have your memorial. But so I'm really glad and really thankful that Gemma and Aunt Rosa are gonna be out here with me, because I'm going back to work next week too. It's like everything is just fast approaching, and it's like another level of overwhelming, like, oh gosh, it's more, and then now I have to navigate this, being vulnerable in front of other people, because if I have to hold it in every time Aunt Rose is around, it's not gonna be good. I have to get it out, I have to let it out, regardless of who's around, Dad, Aunt Rosa, like whoever, everybody's gonna hear it. I don't give a shit anymore. Literally don't fucking care about nothing like anymore. I don't care about being embarrassed. I don't care about fucking, sounding crazy. I just, like, I don't care about any of that shit anymore. Now it's all about, just making sure that I'm good and Gemma's good and that we're good. And we are going to be good, Ton, I promise. I'm going to take care of Gemma. Gemma's going to take care of me, and we're going to get through this, and, we're going to come out of the other side. I promise. I promise. We don't have a choice. We don't have a choice. This was our burden. This is our cross to bear, and this is what we're going to do. And we do it for you because we love you so, so much, Ton. I love you so, so much.